Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back. We are still continuing on with this series of chakra exploration, and this week we are moving on to the Ajna chakra, or the third eye chakra. So Ajna in Sanskrit translates to luminescence or illumination. And generally, when we think of the third eye, we kind of think of those powers of intuition or of psychic ability. But really, what we are referring to within the body itself isn't just this spot right here in the forehead, but what we are talking about is the pineal gland, which is a very, very small organ, almost in the center of the brain. And this kind of it produces melatonin, which is produced during sleep. But it also is correlated with psychedelic experiences, dreaming, near-death experiences. So there's a lot of illusory, imaginative qualities that go along with balancing the Ajna chakra. So a good way to bring balance, not just through yoga practice, is definitely diving deep into meditation, spending some time with your thoughts, and just seeing what sort of perspectives you can come up with. Maybe keeping a dream diary, right? Or just maybe some sort of like automatic writing or drawing. These are all really great practices if you're trying to find that deeper connection with this sort of ethereal realm. And again, I'm taking a lot of my notes for this series from Anadia Judith's Chakra Yoga book. It's a very invaluable resource. So if you want to learn a little bit more, I recommend you checking out this book. But as we start to move through our physical asana practice today, we're also going to be incorporating another Sanskrit term, the drishti, which refers to our gaze or our perspective. So the drishti is very helpful moving physically with the body, because when we focus our gaze, we're able to find better balance, more focused concentration. And you'll see that as we move through the practice today, we will be coming into some balancing postures like eagle and warrior three. So it's very important to have that focus, not just of your mind, but your breath as well. But drishti goes beyond just what we're looking at, right? It comes down to what we are inherently focused upon. And maybe that's, something negative. So maybe we're finding fault within ourselves or within our practice. And when that's what you're focusing on, that's what you see, right? So when we can learn how to channel or direct our drishti, whether that is in a physical or abstract sense, we can use it for good, right? So when you're physically using it and you're looking off in your yoga practice, and maybe you're looking out a window and it's very windy today, so the trees are moving, maybe you shouldn't be focusing on those moving branches when you're trying to hold a balance posture, because the more movement you're taking in, the more sort of kinetic energy that you're allowing to come within your focus is going to also affect what your body is doing. So you might find yourself falling out of balance. And conversely, when we're only focusing on what is bad, where we're finding fault, that's all we're going to see. That's what we're absorbing into our bodies. So when we can focus on our achievements, what we are able to do, and all of the love and support that we do have in our lives, then we can start to absorb some of that energy as well. So learning to command this perspective is a really deeper part of what it means to do yoga, right? It's not just about stretching and balancing. It's about taking this and applying it to our everyday lives. So if you're looking for a little bit more correspondences to add into any sort of meditation you're doing, or just want to bring a little more Ajna energy into your life, essential oils today, we have clary sage, cypress, juniper, marjoram, mugwort, and sandalwood. It's a really very cerebral blend. It smells delicious in here. It's one of my favorites. Definitely great for meditation, for dreaming, or for your yoga practice. And then I also have a beautiful piece of Labrador right here. The general color associated with Ajna is indigo, so a very deep, dark blue. So anything like sodalite, or like we used last week with the lapis lazuli, but I prefer to use labradorite because it's a very mystical, magical stone. When you look at it, there's this sort of incandescent iridescence about it, and I carry one around with me everywhere. So on that note, we are going to go ahead and just jump right into it. You will need a couple of blocks today, and that's it. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, my dear friends, join me in your most comfortable seated position. And before we really get into our beginning meditation here, we're going to be talking about alignment breath. So come to your most comfortable seat and do those little movements, anything that you need to find groundedness, to find your center, and come to a nice tall spine. You can keep your eyes open to follow along with me, or you can go ahead and soften or close them as I guide you through this sort of alignment breathing that we're going to be focusing on. So when we think about the column of the chakras moving up through the body, remember at the very base, our root chakra, the Muladhara chakra. Then moving up, we have the Svadhisthana, we have the Manipura, we have the Anahata, am I missing anything? Vishuddhi, the Ajna, and then next week we'll move on into the, I can't even say it right now, Sarashana. Forgive me. But that's the crown chakra. So when we think about these being within alignment, it's not just about how they're moving together in conjunction with one another, but it's about being aligned on that central column of the spine. So go ahead and just visualize that there's a string running from the crown of your head all the way down to the base of your tailbone. And it's a nice, long, straight, solid string. Now, we're going to imagine that there are 7 wheels or circles or chakras placed strategically along this string. And we're going to start by breathing into each one. So we're going to start by directing our breath towards the root chakra, and then up into the pelvis, then into the navel, then into the heart, the throat, and we'll stop this week right here at our third eye. And as we direct this breath, so we're going to be taking about 7 rounds of deep breath here. I want you to breathe into each of these areas. And then as the breath travels in and out, I want you to notice if you start to feel a little bit of imbalance anywhere within the body. And if you don't feel anything, that's okay. At least you're breathing and focusing your mind. But when we start to feel as though when we take these deep breaths, when we're focusing our intention, and then you start to maybe feel a little bit of collapsing in the chest, or maybe the belly is sinking back a little bit on these breaths, then you might be able to realize that there's a little bit of an imbalance in those chakras. So whether you get anything out of this or not, it's just going to be a great breathing practice. So we're going to move right through these 7 breaths, and I will guide you through each one. And then we're going to just start our deep breathing right into our beginning meditation and then into the practice. So just take a few natural breaths here. Clear out any stagnant energy. Check back in with your spine, with your alignment. So the shoulders should be relaxed. The belly is not engaged, but just very gently tucking in. The rib cage is not sticking out. And the chin is just very subtly tucked in toward the chest. So we're not hanging the head, but we're making the back of the neck nice and long. And again, I invite you to soften or close your eyes. If you'd like to use the Ujjayi breath along with me, that's what I'll be using for these 7 rounds. And before we start breathing, I want you to bring your awareness way down to the base of your spine. And if you've been practicing along with me, you can remember that Muladhara Bandha, where we suck the air in, almost like a Kegel reflex or exercise, right? So go ahead and just engage that for a moment by sucking that energy up from the earth and then releasing. So just to bring your awareness to that spot of the body. Take a clearing breath in and out. And then a nice deep inhale. And release. Allowing your awareness to come into the pelvis. Breathe in. And release. those chakral energy points. We're going to take 3 more deep breaths. Slowly begin to come back to your natural rhythm, your natural pace of breath. Allow yourself to take an inhale and exhale, lower your chin to the chest. Letting the back of the neck stretch out, the shoulders relaxing away from the ears. On an inhale, roll your right ear up and over the right shoulder. And exhale, roll your chin back into the chest. Inhale to the left side. And exhale down nice and slow. Continue moving to side with the breath. One more time to each side, so once more to the right and once more to the left. And the chin comes back into the chest, shoulders are relaxed. Inhale, bring your head through center and breathe out. So it wouldn't be a practice of the third eye chakra if we didn't incorporate a little bit of eye yoga, and some of you might not have known that that was a thing. But our eyes have muscles as well, and you know, as we age, as we go through hormonal changes or trauma or stress, these muscles can weaken. I know this because after I had a baby, I had to get glasses. So this is something I should probably be incorporating more into my life, but we're going to be just stretching out our eyes. So you're going to be completely still within the rest of your body. We're going to be moving the eyes side to side, diagonally back up and down on both sides, and up and down, and then even crossing our eyes in the middle. Don't worry, they're not going to stick like that. Just kidding. No, I'm not, just kidding. But anyway, so come to your most comfortable seat and just allow your eyes to be relaxed for a moment. Just allow them to be neutral, natural. And then go ahead and just turn your eyes looking to the right. And I want you to do it not so that you're feeling pain or strain in the eyes, but I do want you to feel sensation in those muscles. So just take a couple breaths here, looking all the way to the right. And then so slowly come back through center and move to the left side. Don't forget to breathe. Then gently come back through center. This time we're going to look up. Really take your time. Feel your eyebrows lift slightly. And then gently come back through center. And look down. We're not dipping the head. We are only moving the eyes. And coming back through center. This time, you're going to be looking up to the upper right corner of your room. So we're diagonally looking to the right. And then we're going to go all the way down that diagonal line to look to the lower left. Come back to center. Now we're looking all the way up to the upper left. And all the way down to the lower right. And back to center. Now we're going to be crossing the eyes. We're just going to start in the middle and cross them in toward the bridge of our nose. Focus. Now we're going to be looking up toward the third eye. Gently refocus. Maybe blink a couple times. Now we're going to be looking down at the tip of our nose. And refocus. Blink your eyes a couple of times. And now we're going to be just making some funky little circles with our eyeballs. And this is fun to do in front of a mirror too, because it's just funny. So start in the center. Move your eyes all the way to the right. And just start to circle. Clockwise, counterclockwise. Try not to rush it. And then blink, come back through center. This time we're going to look to the left and then start your circle in the opposite direction. And blink, close your eyes. Think about what you see. Even when the eyes close, we still see something, whether it's colors or shapes or forms. And then slowly flutter them open. Go ahead, bring the legs out in front. Give them a nice little wiggle. We're going to do some rolling folds, and you're pretty familiar with these from my previous classes. So nice tall spine. Make sure your pelvis is slightly turned forward. Arms out to the side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, extend over the legs and fold down. Soft bend to the knees, flex the feet. Hang the head. Take a full breath here. On your next inhale, drag the hands back to the hips, rounding up through the spine, shoulders to the ears. And exhale, shoulders down the back. We're going to roll through that a few more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, extend and fold. Inhale, rolling up to sit. Shoulders to the ears. And exhale, shoulders down the back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Rolling up. Shoulders down. Maybe starting to straighten out the legs a little bit. Last time. And fold. Hold down here in your fold. We're going to take 3 big breaths. Remember, extension from the nose to the toes, not nose to knees. And this time, as we get ready to come up, look to the toes, reach your arms forward, strong belly as we lift up with a breath in. Hands meet overhead and exhale. Hands to the heart. Go ahead and draw your right foot in. You can keep it to the inside or outside of your left knee. We're going to start into a twist. Left foot is flexed. Inhale, nice tall spine. Exhale, we're twisting to the right. Hug the knee into the chest. Allow that right hip to slide back. Breathe in, twist deeper. Maybe we bring that elbow to the outside of the knee. Breathe in and exhale and twist to center. Stretch out that right leg. Left foot comes in, inside or outside of the knee. Inhale, breathe in, nice and tall. Exhale, hugging the knees. We twist to the left, allow the hip to slide back. And breathe in. And exhale to center. Stretch out both legs, give them a nice little shake, and come back into an easy seated position. We're just going to stretch out through the side body. So you can take your left hand to the mat beside you. On an inhale, right hand reaches up and over. Big stretch through the ribs. Inhale, reaching up with both hands. And exhale, right hand down as we reach over through the left fingertips. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to move right into a tabletop position. So before we go too far here, just make sure you have your 2 blocks available to you at the top of the mat for as we start to move through the practice. So coming onto our hands and knees, we're starting our circles up and around the wrists, gently rolling around. And just going a few times in both directions. Come to the top of the left hand, gently circle around. Shake it out and come to the top of the right hand. And shake it out, back in table, moving through 5 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale to find that extension. And exhale, rounding, pull the belly in. Last round. Inhale, coming back through table. We're going to move into an extended puppy. So walking the knees back a little bit, keeping the hips over the knees. Hands walk forward and pressing into the palms of the hands, just like we would for downward facing dog. Start to dip your chest toward the mat. And bring your forehead down, resting that third eye, brow space on the mat. So feeling some tension and heat building in the shoulders. The belly pressing toward the top of the thighs. And then turn your gaze, look forward, dip the chest down. Maybe come to tented fingertips to increase that sensation into the arms. Breathing. And then we'll slowly come back up to table, rounding into cat. And then inhale again, back into table. We're just going to shake the tail a little bit here. So I'm just pressing my hips from side to side. And then I'm going to start to add in my gaze. So as I shift my hips to the right, I'm going to turn and look back at my right hip. And then as I shift my hips to the left, I'm going to turn and look back at my left hip. One more time to each side. And then back into table. Tuck the toes, walk the hands a step or two in front. Breathe in and exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead, pedal out your feet, shake out your head. Any little movements that you'd like to make in this position. To stillness. And as we hang out here in down dog, I want you to think about that drishti point. So right now we should be really releasing through the head and looking back through the ankles or between the feet. And just find one spot on the wall or floor or object behind you that is not moving. And really focus your gaze here. Maybe you can start to soften your heels closer toward the mat if they're not there already, but relaxing the front of the ankles. Maybe you can feel your belly pressing toward your thighs, a little more extension through the tailbone. Or maybe you can press away from the mat just a little bit more, or find a little more release through the neck and head. As we breathe here and focus our attention. Shift your left foot closer to that central line of the mat, and on an inhale we're going to lift that right leg up behind us, a three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that right knee, shift your weight forward, and we're going to step that right foot between the hands, grounding the left knee for a low lunge. Take your left hand to the mat or a block on the inside of your right foot, and on an inhale, we're going to reach that right hand up to the ceiling or hand to the hip. Allow your drishti to focus on your thumb. If that doesn't feel okay with your neck, find a spot on the wall or somewhere next to you, looking out toward the side. Try not to sink into that left shoulder, and press your chest and your right inner knee in toward the center, rolling open that right shoulder. Breathe in and exhale, right hand down. Inhale, reach both arms forward and up or hands to the hips. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Press your hips forward. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, reach the arms back. Inhale, reaching straight up. And exhale, hands down to frame that right foot. Tuck the left toes. Inhale, lift the knee. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Slide your right foot to that center line of the mat. And on an inhale, we'll lift that left leg up behind us, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend that left knee, shifting your weight forward and stepping the foot between the hands. Right knee grounds for the low lunge. Having some wardrobe issues here, I apologize. Right hand to the block or floor in the inner left foot. And inhale, left hand reaches up. Really try to focus your awareness, your attention. Seeing what adjustments or alignments you can continue to make within the body as you breathe. One more inhale. And exhale, left hand down. Inhale, right, both hands reach up. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Hips press forward. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, peel the arms back. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands down to frame the left foot. Tuck the right toes. Inhale, lift the knee. And exhale, step forward to the top of the mat. And fold right down over the feet. Release your upper body. Softly bend into the knees. Grab opposite elbows. And sway a little bit from side to side. And then finding stillness, release the arms. Inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale to fold. We're going to roll up to stand. Big breath in as we round ourselves up. Arms come out and up, look up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Step yourself into mountain, so align the feet, ground them down. Align the pelvis and the spine, relax the shoulders. We're going to be incorporating a little bit of a back bend into our mountain. So again, as we stand here, we're thinking about this nice long straight column of the spine, of the chakras, and we're going to find extension and lift upwards. So for some of you, that may mean keeping your hands on the hips in order to keep the hips pressing forward as the heart and shoulders come back. For those of you that want to incorporate the arms, we can inhale, reaching the arms up to frame the ears. So just standing like this with the extension upwards before we start to reach back. Start to tuck the pelvis, pressing the hips forward as you lift the heart, breathing in. And then exhale, reaching those arms back. Keep the heart lifting. And then inhale up. And exhale, hands to the heart. And folding down over the knees. Bend into the knees, reach your hands down to the mat. Let those low back muscles stretch out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Rolling up to stand. Arms come out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. As we move into our standing asana practice here, again, just make sure your blocks are available. So stepping into the top third of the mat here, find mountain, connect with your breath. Inhale, arms reach forward and up to frame the ears. Exhale, hands to the heart as you shift your weight into your right foot, bringing the left knee up into the chest. We're going to be moving through a warrior three. We will be holding it. The blocks are down there if you need them. On an inhale, start to flatten your torso parallel to the floor, the mat, as you reach that left leg back. Try not to let the left hip pop up. You can keep the hands to the heart, hands on the blocks, or maybe reaching them forward, framing the ears, tuck the belly up and in. Focus your gaze. Physically and abstractly, you can do this, whatever it looks like. Breathe in. Exhale, left toes down, arms come up. Exhale, we're going to ground that left heel into warrior one. Square off your hips. Maybe that's widening the space between your legs so that your right hip can pull back, your left hip can pull forward. Arms are still up. Hips are pressing forward. Find your breath here. Find a spot in front of you to focus your drishti, an unmoving object or point on the wall. You can keep your arms up to frame the ears, or even hands to the hips. We're going to be stepping forward into eagle. So as we step forward, we're going to be crossing our left leg over the right. So find your drishti. Focus your perspective. Inhale, come high on your left toes. Shift your weight forward to that right foot. Lift the left leg, crossing it over the right, and squatting down. Option to cross at the ankles. Arms up to frame the ears or hands at the hips. Make sure the tailbone is lengthening down, belly pulling in, and then bring the elbows in front of the face. Keep a space between the arms to keep your gaze focused. We can always bring wrapping at the wrists, back of the hands together. Or, we're going to be wrapping the left arm underneath the right. Option to cross again at the wrists. This might block your drishti. Breathe through it. Maybe even look to the side just a little bit. And then start to lift the elbows. Focus. Use your mind's eye. Squeeze the legs together. Squeeze the arms together. Breathe in. Exhale, lower and release the arms. Bring them up to frame the ears. Breathe in. Exhale, uncross the legs. Inhale, step back to warrior one, ground the heel, and breathe. We're going to be moving into pyramid from here. Inhale, straighten your right leg. And again, you may need to create more space between your feet. Left foot is turning in at about a 45-degree angle. So it's not parallel to the short side of the mat like we would in Warrior Two. This can be a straight-legged fold, but I encourage you to take a soft bend to your front knee. Otherwise, make sure those quads are super strong. On an inhale, tailbone reaches back as we start to lower and fold the torso forward and down. Hands can come to the blocks or framing the right foot all the way down to the mat. Don't drop your head all the way down. Ground into that back heel and feel the crown of the head reaching forward, extending toward those right toes. Notice if you need to square off the hips, right hip pulling back, left hip forward. Feel those strong legs. And then using your elbows as a guide, not your head or heart, we're going to bend into the elbows to bring the torso closer to the leg. So we're not trying to wrench down through the spine or through the head. The neck is neutral. This is also called intense east because it is a very intense stretch of the legs. So take your time, ease your way into it. Really listen to your body. On your next breath in, we're going to bend into that right knee, bringing us right into a runner's lunge. Plant the hands. Inhale. Exhale. Downward facing dog. 3 big breaths here. On an inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rolling up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. 3 breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. reach your arms forward and up. And as the hands come back into the heart, shift your weight to the left leg, bringing that right knee into the chest. Find your drishti. It's going to change as we move into Warrior 3. On your next inhale, we're going to start extending the torso forward, reaching that right leg back. Remember, we can have a soft bend to that left knee, belly tucking up and in. Right hip stays squared to the mat so it's not popping up. We always have the blocks available to us. This is not my strong side, so I might keep my hands into my heart here today. We're going to take a few breaths here, so power through it. Focus your perspective. Breathe in. And exhale, right toes down. Arms come up, torso lifts, and we'll ground that right heel for Warrior 1. Again, you may need to increase the space between the legs so you can square off the hips. Pressing the hips forward, arms to frame the ears. Connect with your breath. Find that drishti again in front of you. Remember, we're going to be moving from here right into eagle. You can bring your hands to your hips. We're going for a little more challenge. Keep them lifting up. So inhale, come high on those right toes. Shift your weight to that left foot. And then exhale, right leg crosses over the left. And squatting down almost as if we were in chair. We can start to bring the arms in front of us. Keep a space between the arms to focus your gaze. See it in your mind's eye because we will be blocking it. As that right arm comes under the left, back the palms touching, or again, we can cross at the wrists. Core is engaged. Lift the elbows if you can. Squeeze the legs together. Squeeze the arms together. Breathe in. Exhale, release the arms up to frame the ears. Breathe in. Exhale, release that right leg and step it back with an inhale. Exhale, ground the heel, Warrior 1. And breathe. Inhale, straighten that left leg. Power up those quads or keep a soft bend to the knee. Again, you might want to increase the space between your legs as we begin to fold. Tailbone reaching back as we inhale, reaching the arms forward. Hands can come down to the blocks or framing the left foot on the mat. Remember, we're not dropping the head or torso. We're staying long and extended through the spine. Breathing into the backs of the legs. Focusing your gaze above those left toes toward the top of the mat. Deepening the fold if it feels okay by taking a simple bend to the elbows. Keep the hips squaring off and little adjustments as we go deeper here. Left hip pulling back, right hip pulling forward. Your next inhale, bend into that left knee. Runner's lunge. Plant the hands, breathe in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. On an inhale, look forward. And exhale, start to lower your elbows to the mat. Try to keep the elbows underneath the shoulders as we come into dolphin. You might step your feet in, you might take a bend to the knees, but keep that tailbone lifting toward the ceiling and press out of those forearms, nice and strong. We'll only be here for a few more breaths. For a little more challenge, inhale, lift that right foot. Three-legged dolphin. And exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift that left leg. And exhale, lower it down. Breathe in. Exhale, lower the knees to the mat. Sink back into child's pose, forehead to the mat, and bring the arms to frame the body. You can have the knees wide or legs together. Maybe a block under your bum. Connect with your breath. Slowly bring your hands forward underneath the shoulders. Inhale, we're going to press the torso up and come to stand on the knees. We're going to come into one camel. We'll keep the hands to the hips or tuck the toes for the heels lifted. Breathe in here and out. Lengthen the tailbone. Breathe in, lift the heart. Exhale, press the hips forward, shoulders come back. Keep lifting the chest toward the ceiling. Keep your gaze up. The neck is strong and supporting the head. And then slowly coming out, hands come to hips. If they're not there already, lifting the heart, breathe in. Exhale down to child's pose. Keep the arms extended this time. Release the neck and head down. Breathe into the low back. Inhale, look forward. Breathe out. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, lift the torso. So we are going to incorporate a little bit of an arm balance today. We're going to be coming into crow. So we can do this with a couple of blocks. The first block we can have available to us. Well, I'm going to demonstrate this with one block at a time. So the first block we can have here right underneath our forehead. So crow, we're going to come to a fairly, not very wide-legged stance, but almost to the edges of the long sides of your mat, toes pointing out. And we're going to bring the arms, hands underneath the shoulders, inside the legs. If you're new to crow, you can keep the knees on the outside of the upper arms. Or if this is within your practice, we're going to be pressing the knees into the back of the upper arms. So without lifting the feet, maybe just coming into this motion a few times and making sure that the block is under your forehead as you start to lean forward as though you were going to pick up the feet. The block is there to help us in case we feel like we're going to fall all the way forward. This takes a lot of strength in the core and a lot of focus with your mind's eye. So really focus on a spot on your block, a spot on your mat. And the power comes not from pressing the legs into the arms, that certainly helps to stabilize us, but from zipping up the core, from really engaging, tucking yourself into your own body, and then using that force of the legs and arms working in conjunction with one another to find that lift. So getting ready to lift up. Come high on the toes. Press into the backs of the arms, lifting one foot at a time. And then coming down gently. We can also do this by standing on the blocks. I like to have them the long way. If you like to have them the opposite way, it's totally up to you. So I'm just gonna have my toes on the blocks here. And this is really good if you're completely new to this because it already lifts you up a little bit so you don't have to go as far. And again, maybe if you're new, bring the knees to the outside of the arms. You might have some bruises on your arms after this. That's okay. And then coming back down. Sometimes when I really first started practicing this, I would just lift one foot and really breathe into that sensation. And then go into the other side because sometimes that's all you need. Make sure you spend an equal amount of time on both sides. We're gonna come into that one more time. If you're still holding your first one, I applaud you. I haven't actually practiced this in a while. So it's always good to revisit. Maybe this time I'll try lifting with my opposite foot first. So we're going to be coming into our half boat position, getting ready to wind down. Feet flat on the mat, knees are bent. Nice tall spine. Bring your arms out to the side. Take a breath in. Exhale, suck your belly in toward the spine as we begin to round backward. All the way down. We're using a lot of control. This gets really tricky in the mid-back. Breathe through it. Gently release the shoulders and the head. And then extend the legs. Relax the body. Take a few clearing rounds of breath. Go ahead and float your knees into the chest. And rock from side to side. As we do these last couple stretches to finish out our practice, I want you to come to a little mantra. We're going to think about the words, I see. So as we come into the ending Shavasana sort of meditation where we kind of let our mind just drift, I'd like you to focus at least one little part of your brain on what you might be seeing in the mind's eye as you release and relax the body. So come to center here, let the arms fall open. We'll do a nice easy twist. Breathe in. Exhale, knees to the right. Look to the left. Inhale, knees to center. And exhale to the left, and we'll look to the right. Inhale through center. Keep your knees bent, plant your feet on the mat, walk your shoulders down. We're going to set up for a bridge. On an exhale, flatten your low back to the floor. Inhale, press into the feet as you lift the hips, rolling up onto the shoulders. Breathe in and exhale, wind back down. Return your knees to the chest, grab the outer edges of the ankles or feet. Bring the feet toward the ceiling. Kind of as though you were sitting in a chair here for happy baby. Open the thighs wide around the rib cage. Flatten your low back to the mat. And we can rock a little bit from side to side here. Feeling a nice stretch through the hips. Massaging out the shoulders. Coming to stillness, bring the soles of the feet together, keep the knees wide as you lower the legs to the mat. You can either support your legs with your hands, wedge a block under the legs, or let gravity just allow them to fall open. And bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Shoulders are relaxed. Feel your breath. Close your eyes. What does your mind's eye show you? Do you see colors or shapes? Do you see images, figures? And maybe there are no words to describe what you see, so just allow yourself to see it. Release your arms out to the side. Bring your knees together and slide your feet down, extending your legs, moving right into Shavasana. So I do invite you in your practice, I know I didn't tell you to grab one, if you have an eye pillow or even just like a clean sock that you'd like to rest over your eyes for Shavasana, just to bring a little extra gravity and awareness to this area of the body. You can feel free to put that over your eyes right now. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath and listen and observe your body as it starts to quiet down and relax. Allowing your spine to melt into the mat. Just as we began our practice with, we're going to take a few rounds of deep, controlled breathing, using that Ujjayi breath if that works for you. So 3 rounds of deep breath, starting with an inhale. Gently return to your natural breath, allowing all of that control to release, surrendering your body to this final posture. We're going to be doing our Shavasana a little bit differently today. I made this class a little shorter to give you time if you'd like to incorporate or move right into your own meditation from here. So I'm going to give you a few moments to really get into Shavasana. I'll read you a poem, and then we will slowly end the class. So no Om today, no ending. And this is where I say thank you and namaste. So from here, just allow that awareness to drift, but see what you see. What is your mind's eye showing you? To you a poem for allowing you to just float away down this river of relaxation. And it was illusion that bound me, shrouding reality, ocularly internal, dissipating the depth of reason, blurring the focus of the soul. To err on behalf of judgment prevailed o'er morality. No necessity of correction to wipe away the fog of ignorance. My eyes greedily filtering, pupils dilating to absorb what suited me, yet blind to half of what lay before me. For to acknowledge the dualities of life, good, evil, sincerity, hypocrisy, action, stagnation, meant seeing all of it within myself. What is seen cannot be unseen. What is known can be forgotten, can be repressed. In choosing receptive activity, I transcended uncertainty, closing off duality to open upon unbiased observation, suffusing myself in psychic perception. What a gift to simply regard the nature of life impartial. What magic to intuit subtle environ rhythms. I've lived for days and months and years, yet I haven't quite awakened until I chose to look within. And stay here in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Or perhaps when you're ready, coming up to a seated position and continuing an intentional meditation.